What up? Welcome back to another episode of Select Your Character. Today we are doing something a little different. We're not going to be talking about a Mario character today. As far as the series goes, going forward, I don't just want to cover Mario characters. I don't really want to pigeonhole myself into one franchise, so I figured I'd start early by mixing things up. So today I'm going to be covering the beginning of my third favorite gaming franchise of all time, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic has a crazy history, a crazy fan base, some crazy movies, some crazy shows, some crazy animations on YouTube that I grew up watching that I shouldn't have been watching at that age. Sonic has scarred and simultaneously improved the childhoods of so many of us. So I figured he would be a great series to cover. So in this first one, I talk about him. I also talk a little bit about his arch nemesis, Dr. Robotnik, just because they're so intertwined. And I mainly just talk about the creation and development of the first game. But in future episodes, I'll go into other characters, other games, stuff like that. Maybe even on some other franchises other than Mario and Sonic. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this one about Sonic the Hedgehog. Peace.
Alright, so picture this. The year is 1990, and you are an epic gamer. The 8-bit era is coming to an end, but nonetheless, when it comes to gaming, the mustache is still king. Nintendo was absolutely dominating the video game market at the time, and as you could probably guess, one short middle-aged Italian-American was leading the charge. No, not my Uncle Tony, but Super Mario. Nintendo and Mario were so huge at the time that the goal of pretty much every other video game company was the same. Destroy Nintendo! Many companies would take their own crack at developing their own plucky and marketable platforming mascots, but none would truly prevail. Mario was still on top. That is, until one spiky blue dude with a crazy attitude stepped on the scene and said, "Hey, you're too slow." Up-and-coming video game company Sega had just released their new 16-bit console to combat with Nintendo's 8-bit NES, called the Genesis in America and the Mega Drive pretty much everywhere else. The Sega Genesis needed a hot new game and a flagship mascot to lead the charge. Therefore, Sonic the Hedgehog smashed onto the scene in summer of 1991 and absolutely knocked the socks off of anyone who played it. See, everyone was used to Mario's tight platforming and the necessity of jumping skills to get from point A to point B, but Sonic was different. Sonic was like Mario on speed. Why are we going so fucking fast? This game had you going through loop-de-loops at the speed of Mach a billion. Imagine going over your rich friend's house in 1991 and playing this game for the first time. Then you go to your weird friend's house and he busts out Gilligan's Island for the NES. These two games came out less than a year apart. It's safe to say that Sonic the concept was wildly intriguing enough already, but who exactly is Sonic the Hedgehog? Sonic the Hedgehog was primarily created by these three guys, Yuji Naka, Naoto Oshima, and Hirokazu Yasuhara, otherwise known as Team Sonic. Not to be confused with Team Sonic. Like I said before, the main goal when creating Sonic was to make a character that would outshine Mario. Believe it or not, Sonic actually started out as a rabbit, and quite honestly, I don't blame him. You can't go wrong with rabbits. Okay, maybe you can. Eventually, the decision was made to turn Sonic into a blue hedgehog due to their tendency to roll up into a ball, as well as their unconditional love to go zoom. And so the Blue Blur was born, but he still needed someone to call his arch nemesis, because every good hero has to have an enemy, right? In the first episode of this series, I talked about both the beginning of Donkey Kong as well as Mario, just because the origins of the two characters were so intertwined, so I'm going to try to do more or less of the same thing here. Meet Dr. Ivo Robotnik, often also known as Dr. Eggman. Yeah, that's right, he's one of those. So this dude is basically just a big balloon-shaped mad scientist who hates animals. I'm kidding, there's obviously more to him than that. He also has a killer mustache. Actually, if you can believe it, when they were designing the villain for Sonic, they wanted to make it a fat mustached human just as a jab at Mario. I wonder if these guys are like long-lost cousins. Huh, try that one, game theory. Anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog, the game, not the guy, takes place on South Island on a planet inhabited entirely by animals called Mobius. So pretty much Robotnik's fat bald ass is capturing all the animals of South Island and using them to power his evil robotic creations. I would assume to take over the world. I mean, let's be real, that's what they all want to do, come on. So it's up to Sonic, a sporty teenage hedgehog with blue fur and a radical tood, to speed through the 6 zones, rescue all the captured animals, and defeat the evil Eggman. This may sound hard at first, but lucky for you, Sonic is fast. So fast, in fact, that one time he just time traveled. Yeah, this dude literally broke the space-time continuum by running. Over time, Sonic the Hedgehog would quickly take the world by storm, spawning hundreds of game sequels, animated series, comic books, and even a major motion picture series with its third installment at #1 at the box office at the time of me writing this script. I actually just saw Sonic 3 with my boys, and man, I love these movies so much. I always watch them with my friends. Overall, just a wonderful experience, honestly. Let me know if you ever want me to review these one day. It's crazy to think that what just started off as simply another attempt to dethrone Nintendo's mascot has since evolved into such an intricate franchise with some of the most passionate fans of any property.
Sonic has improved over the years.
And by passionate, I mean borderline frightening.
Not realize that!
Nonetheless, Sonic has officially made his permanent mark on pop culture. Whether you found him to be a cool dude with attitude or just an annoying, cocky little shit, there was no denying the staying power of Sonic the Hedgehog. But he wouldn't be alone forever. Sonic would eventually make plenty of friends and enemies over the years, and I eventually do want to talk about these characters, but not quite yet. I like to keep you guys guessing. But until then, I'm probably going to head over to the grocery store and pick up some last-minute things that I'm going to need for the rest of my winter hibernation. But I can't bring my NES or my Sega Genesis with me in the car. If only there was a way for me to game on the go. Oh, one second. Yo! Oh shit!